Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm presenting to you the review of T-Mobile. Now, I have had every mainstream carrier out there: Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. So if you're maybe thinking about switching to T-Mobile, hold on! Wait a second. Let's get some things straight. First of all, maybe you haven't been on this channel before. Look, I say stuff how it is. Some people don't like it. That's fine. But at least you know you're getting the honest truth. I'm not being paid by anybody to say what I'm saying. I'm just coming straight out and going for it. First things first, I live in Tampa, Florida. Tampa, Florida, what's up with it? Well, it's a large city in Florida. Therefore, there's a lot of population. Therefore, attracts all the signal. So, that goes for any carrier. If you're in a main city, a big city, you're going to have signal. You'd think. Sometimes not the case, but most of the time, yes. I'll give that to them. Most of the time, yes. I'll get to the speed in a second of their network. Now, the problem is when you go out into the suburbs and you go out far, far away, shall I say maybe 30 miles sometimes, which is actually not a far distance. If you look on the T-Mobile coverage map, it is fake. Straight up going to say that to you. It is fake. I have gone where there is zero coverage. And when I complain to them saying, you offer signal out here, you say there is a good signal here, they say, we're working on the towers. So every single time I'm in one of these areas where the coverage has stunk for just the past 2 years now, I've had their coverage for going on about 7 years now. Really, you've been working on the same tower for 7 years? Come on now. Ridiculous. Let me put it this way. It is trash signal sometimes in the suburbs. When I say trash, I mean garbage. To send a message, sometimes it fails to go through. I'm talking about a regular message, an iMessage. A regular message that includes the smart messaging on Android. Can't think of the name right now. I don't know why, because I have an Android. Why can't I think of it? The modern messaging. Google Messages uses it. If you want to come to me after this video. Anyways, nonetheless, even the basics struggle. You'd think maybe a phone call would be, we have that down. We're in 2025. We have that set. No, even your phone calls sometimes cut out. And I'm not talking about out in the mountains. When you got mountains here, I'm talking about just a little bit outside the city. Sometimes it struggles. And they, on their map, say, fine, you're going to be fine, and it is not. Something has really triggered me, though, to make this video. And it was the fact that 7 years ago, I switched to T-Mobile. And I was told by them, this is a price lock. You will never have us increase the price. Did I believe them? A little bit. I shouldn't have. Because just a few weeks ago, I received the message that they are changing their prices. Every line goes up $5. I have 10 lines on my account. Now, before you say anything, no, I do not pay for them all myself. The different people on it, which are all family members, pay in and assist with the bill to their respected lines. That being said, $5 a person. That did not include that, I believe, last year. They just decided, hey, for the fun of it, we're just going to upgrade everyone's lines to the next plan up. Guess what? Some of us don't have $200 extra a month to just toss for a signal that sometimes works and is not guaranteed. So they allow you to opt out of it, of course, that's fine. But this time, when they said all lines increasing by $5, I gave them a call. And I was told by them, oh, we're sorry. Your account actually was not in price lock. And I told them that's one of the reasons I specifically switched from AT&T to T-Mobile, was specifically because of that. Okay? Specifically, one of the reasons. Not all the reasons, one of them. The other reason was AT&T was playing a little jump around game with the pricing, as everybody does. And I said, you know what? I've been dealing with this for several years. I'm going to teach y'all that you don't do that to me. What's little old me going to do? Doesn't matter. Anyways, I change carriers and I go to T-Mobile. I will say this plain and simply. They play the same games everybody else does. And that's a given. They're going to promise something on the bill. I wish I could show you. I would show you, but just for security purposes, you would notice the bill jumps around. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but $20 more this month, $20 less the next month, then $5. And just jumping around. No one's going international. No one is using hotspot. I can see it all in my account, what's going on, and no one is doing anything strange. But their prices jump around. So, first thing to be careful of. Second of all, their nationwide 5G coverage is nonsense. It is not nationwide. They are throwing you an LTE signal and calling it 5G. That is straight up what they're doing. Lies, lies, lies. I sometimes receive 600 megabits a second signal. Okay? That is considered fast, blazing fast. But then, a YouTube video at 1080p can have problems and need a buffer and load signal. Loads really at 600? That isn't true. You're lying. You're not telling the truth. Because that used to be a fact that you could be on, well, back in the day, let's take a Wi-Fi signal. And I know there's differences between the two, but let's just say, okay, let's be honest. A regular signal 5 years ago at 1/4 the speed would load a 4K video and play it decent. You have quadrupled the speed, apparently, and now the video is struggling more. You are lying. I don't care what anyone says, that's a lie. It is not nationwide 5G. Okay? If I take a horse and I call it a pit bull, and I treat it like a pit bull, and I feed it dog food, it does not make it a pit bull. It is still a horse. Okay? Bottom line, if you want to call 4G, LTE, 5G, that does not make it 5G. I don't care what you've done. I don't care what you're doing. The speed of it does not make sense. Your speeds don't make sense. I don't want 1 gigabyte of speed if it's going to be producing 100 megabytes a second quality. Do you understand? Do you catch what I'm saying here? You're offering 5G. Everyone knows what that means. Okay? Everyone understands. Well, during storms, you have to understand. No. You are offering that as your advertisement picture, as your go-to source. And they used to, the little guys, the guys on the smaller plan, got the offers. You can get a contract. We'll reduce $600 off your new phone. Whatever. That doesn't get offered anymore to the smaller. You got to have the Go 5 or Go 5 Plus plan to actually get these nice deals. Nice deals. That isn't nice. When you see what they're offering, okay, so now I get 40 gigabytes of hotspot. You look at the ups, like, I'm going to spend $200 more a month for what? That's not even worth it. Okay? Now I'm talking about on my plan. 10 lines, the price would go up $200. Okay? And that is about, give or take, for 10 lines, that's about $20 a line. Why did that take so long for me to do? I don't know. $20 a line going up. Sounds right. So, is it worth it though? No, it's not worth it at all. What are you using hotspot for? Why does everyone in my lines need a hotspot? Okay? It doesn't. So, and I need to do that? No, you're taking my extra money, then pretending like you're giving it back to me in the form of a phone. That's not good business practices for me, but of course for the company it is. What is the upside? Let's say, for example, 90% of the time I have signal. But when I work, sometimes I work out in, shall we say, in not even Central Florida, 20 miles east. Tampa's on the west coast, 20 miles east. That's not far, but that is far enough sometimes to have a trash signal. I will say this. In all my days with Verizon's signal is a hit and miss too. And don't even get me started on their customer service. Trash customer service. I've spent hours on the phone with them. Hours. T-Mobile is a better has better customer service than Verizon. Not even question. No. There's no question right there. T-Mobile is better at that. If you're deciding right now, I have Verizon, they're getting bad. Oh, you're not going to be disappointed most likely. Switch to T-Mobile. Now, if you have AT&T, hold on a second. Their phone service, when you want to make a phone call or you want to send out a text, as far as I'm concerned, they are spot on. I've had in my entire life 3 calls drop, I believe, when I had AT&T for those years that I had them. T-Mobile, once a week, if not more, a phone call will drop. And don't say, well, it's just your phone. No. Everyone on my account has the problem. Well, maybe it's just on your account. No, other people that I know that have T-Mobile have the same problem. Okay? So, what do you have to do? This is what you got to do. You have to count your blessings and say, what do I want? What is the good side of T-Mobile? Well, they have decent customer service. So if you enjoy being able to talk to someone and getting maybe someone that appears to be on your side, go with them. Fine. Okay. Let's say you are living in the city and AT&T is just messing with your bill. Okay, yeah. T-Mobile gives me fast enough speeds I'm not satisfied with, but it's fast enough so that if another company is messing with me, I can change and not be worried about missing out. It's not like they're left out in the dark ages or in some kind of past life. No, T-Mobile does, they are competing, but they're not telling the truth. If you go out into the suburbs, you're going to get 1 bar of LTE. And it'll sometimes fight for the 5G, and it's going to be 3 megabits a second. Okay, that's not sweet. And you have to manually change it to LTE so that at least you can make phone calls, just nonsense. And you can set it to 5G auto, it does not matter. All that. So if you live in suburbs and you can at least with your phone carrier make phone calls and receive text messages, even if T-Mobile is saying, yes, we offer a good, no, they don't. If it says good, it needs to say great 5G. If it don't say great 5G, don't do it. Don't do it unless you're being ripped off by your phone company. Then by all means, teach them a lesson. You have to. That is where I stand with T-Mobile. I'm not on a scale from 1 to 10 to end this video. If I said 1 to 10, my experience personally, Verizon, 1 to 10. I'm sorry, 1. If I told you my experience with them, it has been absolutely trash in my life. Terrible, even from their home 5G internet, how they handled the situation when I canceled, garbage, horrible customer service. Their customer service, if they had the best signal, they'd bring my scale of 1 to 10 down to a 5. If their service was 10, their customer service brings them down to a 5. That's how trash it is. So just the rest of the nuances brings it down to a 1 out of 10. Not a joke. If you have T-Mobile, do not switch to Verizon. Trust me on that one. Do not. There's other carriers out there worth way better than that. AT&T, scale from 1 to 10, I give them about 6 or 7 out of 10. Okay? With me, they bounced around with the prices a little bit, but the decent customer service, it was decent. All right, it was about a 5 out of 10. But their phone, their actual network services, are about a 8 to 9 out of 10. So 6 or 7. T-Mobile used to be about 7. Now currently 2025, 4 or 5 out of 10. So if that makes sense to you, hopefully this video helps you decide. And you don't have to just rest on me. Go and do some more research. Maybe somebody else is going to love their coverage and you say, you know what? This guy don't even know what he's talking about. I do. But you have your decision to make. So you have it now. Whoever's watching this, you understand. Let's go. You all have a blessed day. Take care. Hasta.